you get a lot of elderly people. They come and stay for a bit longer because it's cheaper actually to be in Malta than it is back at home. And this man arrived, got off the coach and died. And everyone, so I came around the corner, I didn't know, it was my hotel where I lived and worked, and everyone went, there she is. And I was confronted for the first time with I was 20 something, my first person who died. That's a game changer. And the wife just looking to you, you've got to hold this whole thing together professionally, and inside you're, what do I do?
What's up, you beautiful beasts? I'm Katie. I'm on a mission to help humans become the best possible versions of themselves and to strive for overall health, mental health, emotional health, physical health, all of the healths, without ever having to step on a scale. I have had the privilege to talk to all kinds of different humans who've been through a plethora of experiences just being a human and existing. I believe that every single time somebody shares their story, at least one person listening will learn from it, be inspired by it, and maybe, just maybe, even change the entire direction of their life. These are the stories of humans unveiling their beautiful beast. Keep listening. This is the Unveiling the Beast podcast. So how have you been? I really was excited to see your name. I'm like, oh, because you're like on the other side of the world.
Yes, I'm in East London and it's really cold here at the moment. Life has been good. I've had a really good day, productive day. And I've dropped a day down of my work at the university so that I can concentrate more on coaching.
Nice. How's that going?
Lovely. So I've only had about 2 Thursdays where I've been off because they're alternate weeks. But it just feels like I've got this huge expanse of time that I didn't have before.
Nice. That's awesome. What time is it there? I'm just curious.
7 in the evening.
Nice. It's 11 a.m. here.
Yeah. How's your day been?
Pretty good. I dropped my son off.
Your morning.
Yeah, my morning. I dropped my son off, drove home. He goes to school about an hour from where we live because I used to work out there. And now I don't work out there, but my husband still works out there, but he's home recovering from surgery. So we're both over here and my son's at school. And so I always get like antsy when that happens. So
yeah.
My
kids, I just made dinner. You know, the glamorous stuff. One of them came home from school, one of them's revising because my 15-year-old has all these exams coming up. So it's just pure in bedroom revision for now.
Yeah.
I'm glad that's over for me.
Really still want more too. So how about you tell the listeners a little bit about who you are and why you are who you are?
Like it. So I'm Michelle, or Shelley. My friends call me Shelley, which confuses people. And I am first and foremost just a connector of people. I like connecting with people. I like connecting the dots between people who could be good together. I'm a coach, a career coach. I'm a graduate career coach. I'm a wife and a mum. And I've been on a journey. So I've been on a really squiggly career. And at one point I thought that it was just a mess and I didn't know why. I'd never really had a plan and I felt like I drifted everywhere. And then I did an exercise where I looked back down my life with all the highs and lows and everything and realized, none of it was wasted. None of it. It all brought me to where I am today, even the bad stuff. And so the coaching, why I do it is because I love working with women. And I believe everyone has a position that they should have in the world, a position that they're meant to take up. And a lot of people get stuck and they don't reach the position they're meant to be in, that they were created
Yeah.
for. So it's wonderful to be doing the work that can unlock something that gets people to where they really meant to be. And that's why I do it.
I love that. So is that like the main people that you work with are people who feel stuck in their lives?
Well, I kind of lure them in through their career because, and then they go, oh, this isn't what I was expecting. Over here in the UK, anyway, people will talk about their careers forever, but their feelings, not so much. Or the deep stuff, or how they're feeling, or if they're struggling, less. And what I find is, yes, they want help with their career, but logically they can do the stuff they really need to do. It's a practical thing. So once I start working with them, we then start to do some of the lovely stuff underneath all that, because each job, they've took the same pattern, they've took the same behaviors. And I'm like, do you want to take it to the next job? Or do you want to do some of that now so that you don't take it where you're going? And pretty much they will say, no, probably time to drop it now.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Do you ever work with people who are employees and they've decided they don't want to be an employee anymore? They'd rather run their own business?
So part of my life is working with university graduates who I help just take that first step in, and that comes with all of the different stuff that's going on for them. And yes, a lot of times I work with people who are employees. I have a bit of a track record that they leave if they work with me. It's like, okay, they're probably going to leave if you work with them. And then there's people who maybe they've hit a crisis or something, and they've kind of had a dream of what they'd like to do. And then, well, one particular woman I'm thinking of, something massive happened. She built her whole identity on her work, on her career, on her position, on her status, and the rug got taken from under her and she got made redundant with no notice. But then she was able to do so. She's now not an employee. She's gone back to studying. She's going to be doing wonderful work with positive psychology. But I think a lot of people are scared about not being an employee.
Yeah.
Really scared. If you've had a paycheck coming in for the last 20 years, that really freaks people out. And I totally get that. But often there's some nice pre-step to that can happen that starts to build the muscle of the thing you really want to be doing, but you earn your money learning how other people do that thing.
Right.
And that kind of, and again, when people feel they're taking the power back of their choices, that there is a choice. Yeah, I just watch people open up and start to think, oh my gosh, this is possible. I could actually do this. And they do.
That's awesome. I love to, going back to what you said about feeling, what was it, squiggly? Did
Very
you say
squiggly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how none of it was a waste of time. I kind of felt the same way. Like my last job was kind of something I grabbed onto because I was working there part-time and I had a baby. But then when 2020 hit, it was everybody's doing split shifts, and I kind of just like snuck my way into working full-time and did split shifts. My husband did night shift, I did morning shift. And then I just went into this thing and put my whole coaching thing on hold. Everything went on hold because nobody was sure if we'd have jobs or anything like that.
Yeah.
And so for I think it was 3 years, I moved up pretty quickly and I ended up being in a management position of a place I didn't want to work at. But what I found that when I quit there, I now had the skills to run a business, because I
Yeah.
being in that position showed me like the ins and outs. And I mean, I know running a coaching business is different than running, and I worked for an audio company. But still the same, I guess, principles
Yeah.
apply to.
Yeah. And there's always, I just think, depending on what your life's been like, I find that a lot of people who've been through some stuff or had to maybe haven't had all of the opportunities, they're really
Mm,
resourceful, and they can just get, I'll get out there and I'll make some money and I'll do something and I'll put food on the table. And we're good at watching and observing and taking note of what's happening. And so how you do it, because I always want to know, how did you do that? But then how did that happen? I always want to know underneath what's going on. And then why did you do that? How did that fit together? And if you
mm-hmm,
have that kind of curious mindset, there are things like you doing that was for a time and a season. It's making sure you don't get stuck.
mm-hmm,
Um, but you can learn masses, even if it's about leadership, if it's about dealing with employees, if it's about difficult conversations, negotiation. We often don't realize the skills that we're using
mm-hmm,
because we're just doing it. And that's what I love doing as well, is going to someone. So did you research something? Did you use data? Yeah. Did you analyze the data in order to paint a picture of how the business was going? Yeah. So you've researched, you've analyzed, you've presented, you've modeled, blah blah blah.
mm-hmm.
And then they're like, oh yeah, I did, didn't I?
Yeah.
And it starts to build that kind of, okay, I'm not just drifting through life, I'm learning skills as I go. And everyone is, no matter what job you're doing. And a lot of the young people say to me about, oh, they try and hide the fact they've worked in retail.
Mm-hmm.
So, oh, it's just a job, or just a job to get me through. And I'm like, yeah, but you learn how to deal with people. You learn how to resolve
Yes.
issues. You learn how to handle money. You learn how to work at a fast pace. All of it's relevant. You learn to adapt, because no doubt they called you in to cover a shift.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all good.
Yeah. Have you
I'm
ever
not sure if I went off on a tangent there, but
have you ever worked with servers, like waitresses?
as in what way?
Like people that work in restaurants and serve tables. I'm just curious because you learn a lot from that position too, like multitasking and also customer service and making people happy. It was just
Yeah,
curious.
I've been one. So
Yeah.
I've worked when I've done so many jobs, and it does teach you how to connect with people quickly
Hmm.
and how to read people and and sometimes if you're in a really, it depends on your energy levels, but how to really make something really nice for someone. Customer
Mm-hmm.
service, where in the UK has kind of gone down the toilet. I think it's way better in the States. I don't want to diss the UK too much, but you know, now it's the exception to the rule. Customer service, like real proper good customer service, feels like wow, so nice.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I haven't worked with people like that, but I've been one. And then I think my biggest growing up moment and learning life was when I was a holiday rep in Greece. So I looked after people that came on holiday.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't. It wasn't. So I'm an introvert, really.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, oh, what job can I do to really, really make myself scared every day? I know I'll go. So there's part of me that wants the limelight, and then there's the other half of me that's really introvert.
Yeah.
So I got this job where you wear a uniform and you meet people off the airplane and you take them to where they're staying, and then you look after them and you take them out on trips and you do all this, that, and the other. Wow, that taught me a lot, because when people go on holiday, they don't always behave the same way that they would at home. So I thought it was going to be easy. I had to grow up a lot because things happen, deaths,
Mm,
domestic violence, arrests, injuries. You have to, and you might be in your 20s, but you have to deal with that.
yeah.
And that really taught me about life. Working that job when everyone thinks it's so easy, it wasn't.
Yeah.
And you learn skills.
My first thought when you said working with people on holiday is, oh, so everyone's just happy because they're on holiday, and then
No.
you quickly changed my mind.
Well, a lot are. A lot are.
Hmm.
And then you have to realize that you're not on holiday. You kind of have a moment where you forget that. And you think you are on holiday, and then you've still got to get up in the morning. Um, but then a lot of people come and there's alcohol,
Hmm.
there's sun, there's madness. And people go, oh, I'm going to go mad for 2 weeks. And then, yeah, so not everyone's happy all the time. And they had high expectations of what this holiday was going to be like. And if it doesn't fit that expectation, then they come looking for me.
Angry. Angry.
Especially
Yeah.
if the weather's not good, then just hide because they are not going to stop complaining
Uh,
because they came for the sun.
and
I
of
mean, it's
course,
rare.
beautiful.
Yeah, most of the time beautiful, but at beginning and end of the summer, you might get rain and then, yeah,
Mm.
not so happy.
What do you think was like a pivotal moment for you when you had that job, like that kind of either somewhat or completely changed you, like something that happened with a customer or a client?
Oh, there was a couple, but
And you can tell all of them if you want to. This is a podcast of stories. So,
one where I was working in Malta and there was a lot of it's in the winter and you get a lot of elderly people. They come and stay for a bit longer because it's cheaper actually to be in Malta than it is back at home. And this man arrived, got off the coach and died. And everyone, so I came around the corner, I didn't know, it was my hotel where I lived and worked, and everyone went, there she is. And I was confronted for the first time with I was 20 something, my first person who died. That's a game changer. And the
yeah,
wife just looking to you, you've got to hold this whole thing together professionally, and inside you're, oh, what do I do?
yeah,
Um, so that was one, and I had to really learn quickly. But then all of your training kind of kicks in. There's a moment of sheer panic,
mm-hmm.
and then all of your training. And then I think like young people who don't take advice and I had to deal with one where a young guy who'd gone out on the motorbikes
Mm-hmm.
and had alcohol and died to head on collision.
Mm.
And then you have to deal with everything after that. So this is not the turn of conversation, but you have to grow up quickly, and you are the only person in that country really for that person that when you're dealing with something like that they look to you
Right.
to help them. They're literally now do not know what to do, and you have to reassure, and it teaches you so many skills about understanding people and helping them, supporting them, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But back to your point, I think one of my biggest moments where it shifted me as a person was when I was asked to be a troubleshooter and I was employed by this particular small Greek holiday company to go to islands, go travel around Greece and sort out problems. So I got to my third island and they said to me, so it was about July, which is the height of the season. Everything's full, everything's mad, everything's busy. And my boss came to see me and said, "You're going to COS tomorrow." I was like, "Oh, this is like my third island. You're going to COS and you're going to be the island manager." And this was a huge promotion. And that he went, "You're flying into Athens, you're going to COS, and you're going to take over because the manager's going to leave over there." So I flew overnight and I got to this office. I had no clue where I was. I'd never been to this island before. I'd never managed anything before. There's a whole team of people to work under me. And I'd been there about 30 minutes. And the woman who was going to show me the ropes had an argument with London and left. And I just remember sitting in this office. There was 700 people arriving in 3 days. And I didn't even know where I was. I was literally, the door was just swinging where she walked out. And I was like, and then the company, yeah, hello. There's a text. I'm going back. There's like a fax. Can you tell me where I am? Where are the reps? Who are the people? Where are the... And there was this great big airline manifest coming off the fax machine. That's how far back we're going. I didn't really know how to read it. There was just names and apartment. And that was a moment where it was literally fight or flight. I was like, do I make a run for it? Just run for the hills? Or do I stay here? And I stayed. And they've also forgot that I didn't drive. So I spent that whole summer going kilometers on a little tiny moped because I didn't drive. And the Greeks were all crossing themselves because they were like, "What's she doing?" But yeah, I went through so much there. But boy, I learned so many life skills. Sometimes when an opportunity presents itself like that, if you don't run, you'll find a way to make it work.
Yeah. What came to me was, do you remember what you did to kind of, because clearly you probably had some panic in you. Like, what did you do to calm yourself down and then be like, okay, first I need to blank. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Like, first of all, I need to know where the people that are going to be working for me are. So that I can speak to them and say, "I'm here." Luckily for me, I spoke Greek. Not fantastic. I spoke enough Greek to get by. And I rang London and went, "Okay, this is the situation." And they were like, "Please don't leave, please don't leave, please don't leave." I think I just thought, it's sink or swim. And just get through this weekend. Just get the people to the airport.
Right.
And ask for help, I think. So, and the Greek people, because I went, "Help, help me." They were amazing. They were just amazing. And they looked at me and just thought, okay, this girl really does need help. And it was like, they were telling me, "This is how you do this. We'll get the coaches. Don't worry, do this." So I thought, if I can get through this weekend where I've got all these people coming in who expect it to go really smoothly, and I can get all the other people out, then maybe I can make this work. And then one weekend turned in, if I can make it till next weekend. And then the summer finished and everyone went home.
And you were like, "Bye."
Yeah, I looked about 90. This was the days before mobile phones. So there was no one could contact you. It wasn't all. But then I remember sitting in that office in October, just thinking, wow, we did it. And really congratulating the team that I'd grown to love. And then I got a phone call from London and said, "We want you to come and work in the head office and learn the other side of the business." So it was worth staying.
Yeah. You kind of like proved yourself to not only them, but also yourself. like, hey,
Yeah.
I can
Yeah.
do impossible things.
I can do big grown-up stuff.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
really cool. Yeah. A personal story came to mind when you were talking about that. It's only related in the I'm here and I don't know what the F to do.
Mm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
when I was a kid, I was in I guess you'd call it a choir or something, but we didn't do like choiry songs. It was just whatever was popular at the time. It was called Newport Beach Showtime, and I think I was probably 8 or 9. And they told me, I don't remember how this happened, but they told me when the next practice was, and I showed up at the practice. I didn't know anybody there. Like I had been going. I didn't know anyone at the practice, and I didn't know any of the songs they were singing.
Nice.
And I'm going,
La 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 la
I don't know
la.
what to do. And then at the end, the head lady was like, "What's going on? Why aren't you singing anything?" I'm like, "This isn't my group. Like I don't know any of these people.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry."
Why you just got your mouth closed?
But at least I was
Oh,
like, you know,
you were rocking it a little bit.
yeah.
That's all you
So,
can do sometimes.
just keep dancing.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
did. Just kept dancing.
I was gonna say, how did the story that you just told about
Mm.
not knowing where the heck you were or how to do anything,
Hmm.
how has that like kind of followed you throughout your life since then?
Oh yeah. Um, me having this kind of internal battle of I'm really scared of that, trying to dodge it and then doing it. I know my speaking to a friend, and I was like, I keep getting myself. I'm obviously choosing it into these situations where I'm scared,
Mm-hmm.
and I keep like my friend was like, I said, why do I keep doing this? Why do I keep doing this? She goes, because you love it. And I was like, yeah, maybe I do. Another thing was I didn't do a degree until I was in my about fourth decade, and one of the things they wanted me to do was to pick up, it was a business kind of management degree, was to do something at work for my boss, a new project that he wanted to do, and me to take it on as one of my projects. And I tried
Mm-hmm.
everything to get out of it. But he used to do a road show where he would talk to all of the staff. It was a road show that never went anywhere. They had to come to him. So I don't know why they called it that, because he didn't go on a bus and go anywhere. They all came to him, but it was a massive event every year, and it got
Mm-hmm.
really boring. People hated going to listen to it. So they said, why don't you do something new? And I really wriggled, tried not to do it. And then I came up with this brave idea thinking, no one will ever go for this. We're going to do it in the cinema across the road, and we're going to get everybody there, and we're going to give popcorn, and we're going to do things on the big screen. And then they said, that sounds like a great idea. Here's £40,000, make it happen. And I literally was like, oh, I didn't mean it. It's only a joke. Like, I can't do it. I had a lot of sleepless nights about that. And thankfully, people around me were going, yes, you can. Yes, you can. Write a report. I hadn't written a report before. Write a report, break it down, make it easy for yourself. Come back in. I had to then speak to the senior leadership team and tell them what I was going to do. And I was literally petrified. The night before, I don't think I slept, because there was nowhere to hide. It was about 1,000 people coming to a cinema. It had to work, and I was petrified, literally petrified. And it turns out that was one of the big. It happened for 5 days consecutively, and like people loved it. We put popcorn in every chair. I mean, some people, it was really cozy, but some people went to sleep, which was not the idea. They were supposed to be listening to the boss. But yeah, that people absolutely loved it, and it was probably one of the biggest things I did for the organization. But it seems there's a bit of a pattern of I'm petrified.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do it. In fact, I really don't want to do it. And then when I do it, you literally feel yourself grow a little bit more. And you're like, wow. It
Yeah.
doesn't mean that the next time that I lean into something like that, I don't crap myself again, which really annoys me because I'd love to go, yeah, I'm over that. I did
Right.
these things and now I never get scared. But next week I'm doing something. It's new and I don't want to do it. And I do want to do it.
Right.
And I'm going to do it. But I'm scared again. That's just being real.
I will ship you some toilet paper.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.
I'll take it with me.
Okay.
I've got American toilet paper.
I actually have toilet paper that says shit happened. The audio company I used to work for was called Shit Audio. So all of their stuff had shit.
They sound like a dream.
Yeah, it was great.
Mm.
But I love what you're talking about because I've been learning the distinction, at least the person teaching, well, Sean Smith teaching
Yeah.
the distinction between confidence and courage. And
Okay.
the way we look at confidence, I'm going to see if I can spew this back to you the way I learned it. The way we view confidence is that we want the confidence that we're going to do this thing and we're not going to die and we're going to be good at it and nothing wrong is going to happen.
Yeah.
Courage is doing the thing anyway with the fear. And the cool part is that the more you do the thing with the fear and you have the courage to keep doing things that you're scared shitless of, that's what actually builds the confidence. But people automatically try to aim for the confidence and they're like, I'm not going to do the thing until I'm confident. But you won't get the confidence unless you do the thing with fear.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I hope I said that right. Sean Smith, I hope I'm not fired.
Oh, he'll be like, right, sacked. If you can't say that right, then you're not coming back. Yeah, and it's that the confidence competence loop, which is if you don't do it, you're never going to know if you can or where you need to work on or what the gap is so that you can do it again. But everybody wants to feel confident first, which is why a lot of people don't take any action because they think everyone steps out and does stuff feeling, I got this. Piece of cake. And I don't think many people, I think my personal opinion is a lot of people are very good at masking their nerves or not as verbal as me, where I'll go, blah, 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 I'm scared. Help.
Toilet paper.
Sorry, I've got an image of somebody on one of the calls we were on going, I think I pooped myself for no reason. Yeah, I've had a lot of feeling like pooping myself. But then there's nothing like the feeling you get after when you're like, okay, nothing fell off. I didn't die. No one threw rotten tomatoes at me. It was okay. It was okay. But then there's the other side where you go into it, sometimes feeling a bit overconfident and it doesn't work. I think that's worse than going in a bit afraid and thinking, oh, okay. Because I think sometimes your adrenaline and the excitement to do well, the nervousness can really propel you forward.
Yeah.
Because you care, I think.
Yeah.
You care about what you're doing. And if you don't, that's when you can really come unstuck.
Yeah. There's so much talk out there of, or even people trying to sell you programs of learn how to get rid of your fear. And I'm like, you and fear are going to be best friends when you're done with me. You know what I mean? Like, I think we need to like, you need to talk to your fear. Be like, okay, what are we really afraid of? What's going on? You know?
And that is That was a new thing for me. I was like, here comes fear, run away.
Yeah.
Hide. Don't look. There are fears over there. But actually, when you do actually talk to your fear, the fear is there for a reason. And it's almost, instead of being the big bogeyman, it's actually like, oh, I need to look after you. I just want to make sure you're safe. And I now kind of say, okay, thank you. If you're not there, it means I don't care. What do we need to be careful of? What do I need to be careful of as I go into this? What do I need to be thinking about? And I talk to my brain quite a lot, which will probably get me off the podcast and you'll probably delete it now.
No.
She starts talking to her brain. But just to calm down, it's okay.
Yeah.
We can work together through this. And I understand why you're agitated, but we can work together through it and it's going to be great. Or I'll say, brain, don't wake me up till tomorrow morning. I don't want to know about this. We'll pick it up in the morning when I've had some rest, and we'll pick up the subject again. And that works quite well.
Rather than hanging up on you, I'm going to start adopting that. And I was having a conversation with somebody yesterday, just randomly. One of my sleep issues right now is not being able to stay asleep because my brain keeps going with the thoughts. And so I like what you just said about just being like, can we just pause and then we can pick it right back up in the morning?
Yeah, and my brain seems to go, all right, but I will be here at 6 waiting
like this
for you. Remember that thing we said we're going to talk about? And it's okay because by then, and also that old saying is that sleep on it. The whole thing. So it's a giant when you go to bed. And I say to my brain, we'll pick it up in the morning, but right now I need to rest. Otherwise I won't make a good decision. And when you get up in the morning, 9 times out of 10, it's shrunk an awful lot. And what felt like a disaster yesterday feels like, oh, okay. Or you reread the email with a bit of logic and time and think, okay, they probably didn't mean that. And I can calm down.
Yeah.
Because sleep is so important. And just other mindfulness techniques where you wake up to for me, I just say, okay, God, you're going to have to take this because I need to sleep. And you're bigger than my problem. So I can go back to sleep. And I do. And it's good.
Yeah. Goodbye. I'm kidding.
Yeah. Goodbye, you nutter.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. And I think, talking to your brain, talking to your fear, I think the fear shrinks a little bit too. And you're just like, hey, let's grab hands. Let's go do this thing together. And I promise you we won't die, because remember that last time we did that thing together when we were scared and we didn't die? We're not going to die this time either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And convincing the brain that actually this is a growth opportunity. This is an opportunity. And we are going to get through this and we're going to grow. And if we weren't doing this, it would be worse because we wouldn't be moving forward. We'd be stuck. So, and talking to it like your best friend. Let's do this together.
Yeah.
And and I often thank my brain when it's reminded me of something, but not in the middle of the night. And when I say, can you hold that for me till tomorrow and remind me at the right time, because that's really good. And thank you for reminding me of this. And then like maybe 9 o'clock, I'll be drinking coffee at work and it'll be like, bing, just a silly thing. And I can write into thank you, brain. Thank you. Because when the left side's quiet, the right side of your brain, the creative, joyful, wonderful side of your brain, then because it's quieter, can then go, oh, hey, here's an idea.
Like this.
Yeah. This side is a lot more, it's the fluffy side of you, the gentle, wise, all of that. But it's not this is the shouty side. You're going to die. It's going to be terrible. And I'm going to keep reminding you over and over and over. And we're going to try and have that conversation that went wrong again and again and again. Whereas the other side, yeah, that's the creative, nice, joyful, peaceful side.
I like that.
And the left side of your brain should not have the wheel. It shouldn't be driving.
How do you get it to shut up?
Well, there's different ways, but calling it out on its lies. And say, that's not true. That's a lie. I was expecting you to show up. Especially when we judge ourselves, others, circumstances. It's just like, oh, that's a nice story. I've said this before, so that's a nice story, but not today. That's old. That's an old story. And then it just starts to quieten down a bit. Because, like when you're in the shower and you've been trying to think hard about something, and then when you're in the shower singing, and we all sound good in the shower.
Yeah, we
then
do.
All of a sudden, the idea bubbles up. That little eureka moment of like, that was it. Because this side shut up a bit.
Yeah. And you're like, where's my shower pen?
With the shitty toilet paper. Oh, we should patent this quickly. Maybe there is the Acme shower pen. You can write all your ideas on the wall.
Although
it's a great idea.
They already have shower crayons.
Do they?
Yeah, for kids. My son had them. My whole shower was covered in art.
Great. Nice. We could have adult crayons.
Yes, let's do it. Yeah. So what? Well, hold on. I had the question and it left.
See, because that's the left-hand side of your brain going, I'm in charge.
Shut up.
Shut up.
That's a nice story. Yeah. Oh, I was going to say, what are you working on now?
Well, things that scare me, quite frankly.
Yes.
There's a bit of a pattern here, isn't there?
Yeah.
Ooh, something new. Right now, I'm working on a lunch and learn, which is coming up soon for a women's network in London, where I'm going to be talking about the feeling of not feeling good enough. Because I work and I coach some incredibly smart women. I'm talking they're like way smarter than me. They're really academic. And what I notice is there's loads of stuff where they just don't feel good enough. And it seems to be actually it affects high achieving women way more than.
That's interesting.
Very much so. They don't feel they're good enough. And all of the stuff that they put on top and they achieve doesn't do a thing for the underlying feeling of not feeling good enough. So I'm looking forward to that in a way, because I'm going to do a coaching demo. I'm being really brave or stupid.
Nice. No, it's brave.
So I'm not sure. Like I said, the UK is slightly different. If anyone's going to volunteer, if not, I'm going to have to pick on someone to just do a little bit of work around that feeling to help to show that you can move past it, or at least. And half the time talking things out kind of says to the brain, oh, we're solving this. We're making impact and progress on this because it's being spoken out of the body. So I'm working on that. I'm going to make them connect in breakout rooms, which is fun. I'm working on I'm going to be doing a talk on International Women's Day at a university. And I'm starting to put together my own very first 12-week program.
Ooh.
Yeah, and that's another one that's got me scared, but just live with it. Scared and excited, which is a good combo. For people who either want to get a promotion or they want to change career or go in a different direction. And most of the time, a lot of people, a lot of women become the experts in their jobs and get stuck right there because they feel they've got to, because if they're not feeling good enough sometimes, they've got to be the expert. So they get really good really quickly at their jobs. And then no one's going to say, hey, you're doing so well, let me advance you and move you somewhere else, because you've become the go-to person that holds it all together. And then they get scared that, will I be able to do this somewhere else, or I don't know what to do now because this has become who I am. So it will be a whole 12 weeks of going from a lot of the vision and the goal setting and the what's really going on, why haven't you moved, and all that kind of stuff, to the practical. We call it a CV in the UK, but resume, which I find is a brilliant coaching tool that I wasn't expecting. Working with someone on their resume starts to build a confidence. It's like they're looking at themselves on paper for the first time in a new way that they've never seen. Which gives them the confidence then to go out there and compete and to say, I'm going to apply for this, or I'm going to do this. And then we're going to practice interviews. Because saying it with someone, with a human,
it's different than doing it in your head.
Oh my gosh, yeah. When you start, you just think you've got it all together, and then your brain just goes, I have nothing to say. Which used to happen to me a lot, because I used to try and hold all the information in case they asked me something really random, and then your poor brain just goes, I can't cope. I'm not playing. So they're the things at the moment. And practice, I'm doing coaching mastery, which I love, which is connecting me all over the world with people. That's about it for now. It feels like enough.
That's awesome. I'm still stuck on what you said about like brilliant, successful women having the not enough mindset, because it's interesting to me, because so many of the women who aren't quite in their shoes yet are comparing themselves to them. And so I find that really fascinating. Like, all of us are just one big pile of human. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And often these women are really accomplished and have difficulty in owning or internalizing that they did that, and it wasn't some kind of luck, happened to be in the right, or I used to think this as well, it's because I'm, people liked me. They they moved me up because they liked me. And I don't think many people can afford to do that in a business. And then, but also what happens is they've normally been the high achiever in the family and been rewarded for their academic performance, and then they start to believe that that's what gives them the worth. So, I get it. If I achieve, if I get good, if I win, if I get good grades, if I do this, that is who I am, and that's what makes me worthwhile. So it's a constant strive. And I just see it a lot. And women, you think, and it's often the women that like you said, that everyone else is looking up to. Who you think has got it all together. And often it's not.
And then, in my case, I'd be shitting all over myself because I'm not where they are. And
how can you be?
Not knowing that they too are shitting all over themselves.
There's a lot of poo talk on this.
Exactly.
I never thought I'd be talking this much poo.
Welcome to the Unveiling the Beast podcast.
Where did the name come from for this?
So my business name is Beautiful Beast Within Studios. And the beautiful beast within is your true self, that has been veiled with programming and I guess programming is the main word, just like all of the protections and covers that we've learned over the years to hide our true selves.
Hmm.
So unveiling the beautiful beast, because everybody's beautiful and everybody's got a little beast in them.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah,
never
my
done
kids.
that before.
Well, yeah, we are. And my kids would agree that there is a beautiful beast within me.
Yeah.
um, I like that. Yeah, because we all learn. And I have to say, I want to celebrate something that I did this week.
Okay.
This is really, it was uncomfortable. But basically, yeah, I better be careful what I say. But people that I work with, two particular people were really annoyed with me. Like, it was a tense conversation.
Mm,
And the interaction ended quite quickly. And they were really, what I would say was they were displeased with me, which is not a feeling that I've been comfortable with in the past.
right.
So normally what I would have done is go and find someone that I know would agree with me and validate me and say,
Mm-hmm.
yes, oh, they're terrible, blah, blah. And I was like, no, don't do that. You don't need to do that. And also then I would have, I would have tried to fix it with these people to not, and then find some excuse to kind of try and make it right or make them laugh or, you know, come up with some excuse to talk to them about something so that I would feel better or I'd make them feel better.
Right.
And I did neither. I just sat with it and didn't do any of the things that I would normally have done until I felt okay with it. And I have to say, it felt good. And they started trying to talk to me and make it better. Because I was literally like, actually, my job is not to manage their emotions.
Right.
And if they're displeased with me, they have to deal with whatever it is that is triggering them. And it's not my job to now go and fix it. So for me, I celebrated that because I'm like, it's only taken me like 5 decades to get here. But
That's
you
awesome.
you sit with your stuff because I'm going to be who I am.
Yeah. I love that. I love it so
Yeah, it
much.
was empowering.
What was I talking? I was talking recently about doing something. Oh, stuffing my emotions.
Mm,
I would oh, and the idea of toxic positivity where everything's lovely and I'm okay, I'm great, in order to hide my feelings so that other people wouldn't feel uncomfortable because I'm sad.
yeah.
It's like,
Or
no, I'm
angry
not
or
doing
not.
that anymore. Or
Yeah.
what? What did you say?
Or angry or you're not,
Yeah.
I'm not, I'm a good girl. I don't get angry.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have an opinion which is different to yours because that might upset you and then I'll have to deal with all your stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but I literally felt like, you know what? As long as I'm kind, as long as I have integrity,
Mm-hmm.
it's okay to disagree.
Yeah.
And that's part of being human. It's okay. You're unhappy with me. I can live with that. When you're not, when you feel less unhappy with me, we can talk.
Mm-hmm.
But the stuff in the emotions things where I've learned that it affects the body,
Yeah.
and I can't have all of that emotion that has nowhere to go stuck in my body. It's so bad for us. And this
Yeah.
is why so many people, especially people who stuff their emotions or have been trained to, get ill,
Yeah.
have these weird, sometimes it's like the immune system sort of is going, we need to get rid of this. So I'm going to alert you some way
Yeah.
that we need to change the way we're processing stuff and getting rid of it.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, good stuff. Good stuff. And
And
the
if,
things that we were talking about with you and just making other people comfortable, that's
oh,
us putting on our veils
yeah,
and covering our beautiful beast.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the more we're authentic, it's just healthy.
Yeah.
And sometimes we are allowed to have a shout and a rant and a no. Oh, and saying no. Oof, that feels uncomfortable, but I like it.
Hmm.
I love it. Just, I remember somebody asked me, who's in charge, asked me to do something. And I honestly couldn't, I was just like, no. And they looked shocked. They asked again, and I went, no. And they went, okay. Went off
Yeah.
and did it. And I'm like, wow, okay. It's not
Yeah.
saying no, just say no for no sake, but I didn't want to do the thing. And it's
Hmm.
okay to say no as well.
Yeah. Yeah. First learning how to say no, and then learning how to say no and being quiet without having to give an
Oh,
excuse
yeah.
or a reason or anything. Because you can say no nicely. No.
It's a, like when the first time somebody said, the very first time I attended an online course in America
Hmm.
and they put music on and were getting people to dance. I mean, when I say it was alien to me, I was like, what in God's name is this? And that was a hell to the no. No, no, camera off. No, I'm not enjoying this. Is weird. But I've done it since.
Did
Danced
you
on camera.
participate? Did you
I did.
participate in
I
November?
did.
I don't
I
remember.
did. I did. And I was like, woo, look at me dancing on camera. That's how much I've grown. Um, but yeah, I love this conversation, and I love the fact that you just freestyle.
Yes.
I've got to learn how to do this. This obviously I'll
Yeah,
do it at a meeting on Monday. I'll just be like, morning everyone. I've been on the beautiful beast with you. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, I feel like I could be more professional and I could have a list of questions and I could feel stuffy and proper and all that, but I genuinely am interested in people.
Mm,
And I I think the fact that I just hit record and we just talk, it makes it
fabulous.
it makes it more human for both like the participants, but also the listeners. Like, oh, this is what humans talk about, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Coffee chats.
yeah. I mean,
Some
sometimes I'll be interviewing somebody and I know about them and I want to ask them about this and that, but I don't
mm,
ever have, in school they teach you have your list of questions
yeah.
and prepare for blah, and I'm no.
Yeah, you see,
No.
no. And it's different, and I think everybody's craving less shiny, less look at me sitting on my Lamborghini with
Hmm.
that I don't actually own, with my beautiful house,
Yeah.
with my, I'm with my perfection. No, I think people want real
Hmm.
and different, and because most people, let's be real, they don't. Everyone's struggling with something,
Yeah.
and we're living in a society that's pretending that everything's shiny and perfect. And if you haven't got this life, then you're less than.
Hmm.
And that is not reality. We're all living. We've all, bits of our house are not clean.
Hmm.
We don't, when we take the makeup off at night, we don't look the same. I'd love to say I did, but I don't. Sometimes in the morning, I'm like,
Oh, you're wearing
people.
makeup? I'm just kidding. Mine's just
Listen,
so natural.
this is as good as it gets. Sometimes in the morning, I'm like, if people could see you now, if they could see you now, you'd scare them. You'd scare old people and horses.
And horses.
um, so yeah, do you think you found out a little bit more about me?
I did. I loved this conversation, especially the part about fear. That was really good.
Yeah,
And the part about authenticity and what came up for me when you were talking about that just now is nobody gives a shit that I'm in my son's room right now.
no
Like,
one.
because, stuff is going on in my house. I can't use neither. I have two offices, which one's in my bedroom and one's in my dining room. Can't use
Mm-hmm.
either of those right now. So I put a fold up table in my son's room and I put you on a laptop.
And I
Nobody
didn't know
cares.
any different.
Except for my horns.
Yeah, apart from the horns.
Yeah.
How old is he?
6.5.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Boys are, I think they're less complicated than girls.
Yeah.
I believe so. As long as my boys are fed
Uh-huh.
and as long as there's enough food and they can have a hug when they want it, they're pretty good. So I thought I was having a girl, the second child. I was really late. So I had my last child at 45.
Oh.
And yeah, so everybody else's kids are at university and I've got one still in primary school. But I really thought I was having a girl. I convinced everyone that I was having a girl. I didn't find out the sex. And then Ruben came along. But I honestly believe you get what you need, not what you want.
Yeah.
And what I needed was boys. And they've taught me a lot. They've taught me how to be a mum, for sure. And I did not need to have a girl. I thought I did. That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
But I have a very complicated relationship with my mother. And I think that pattern needed to be broken. So I got boys and they're wonderful.
I like having a boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm kind of like a boy at heart. Like I talk about poop and I talk about farts and I talk about like I always joke with him. I'm like, you're gonna go to your friend's house and you're gonna see the daddy burping and farting. And that's gonna be weird for you because my husband's he grew up like any toilet talk, absolutely not. And I grew up in a family where the word fart is hilarious. And so we're so opposite.
It's a trigger word, isn't it? Fart.
Yeah.
Makes kids
Not
laugh.
for me, but yeah.
Fart,
Yeah.
bum, willy. That makes them just
So like he's so used to his mommy doing those things. So I tell him like you're gonna go to your friend's house one day and their daddy's gonna do that and you're gonna be like all shocked and anyway.
Just say, oh no, it's my mum that does all that. Don't believe what you see. She's not like that.
That's funny.
Well, this was fun.
Yes. I do have one more question for you that I ask everybody at the end of every episode. And that is, if you had one piece of advice that you could give to the world, what would it be?
I love that question. And honestly, my advice to the world is be present. Please. There's nothing coming down the line that's going to make you fulfilled. Nothing's going to fill you up. All we know is that we've got today, this moment, me and you, Katie, talking together is wonderful. And so much time is wasted looking for something ahead, looking for some magical moment when you're going to feel that I've arrived or I've done it. When you're present, honestly, be present with your children, be present with your partner, be present now. And there's so much beauty. If you can go searching for all the beautiful stuff now and stay here, because the journey, each day is the bits that really make the difference. And just be present to what is now and know that everything that you need is in today. If you're in the future, you can't be present. If you're trying to go back over the past, you can't be present. So please just be present and know that everything will be okay.
Beautiful. I love it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Michelle Taylor signing off. Until next time.
That sounded like a sex voice.
That was a bit like...
I don't usually do it.
Pay to listen.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I can't even do that. Adios, amigos.
You get really close to the mic
and then you speak as quietly as you possibly can.
Michelle Taylor signing out. Be present.
Yes. I'm going to keep that in.
And stop being scared.
Yes.